Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
What happens when you live alone? You have a really fulfilling life. Maybe you're traveling and all of a sudden you're involved in an accident that leaves you dependent upon other people. We're going to discuss that today on Dr. Jacalyn Unscripted. Thank you for joining us for episode 22. Joining me is my co-host, mentor, and dear friend, Mr. Roland Friedl, who will be the subject of this episode. Let's welcome him to the program. Hi, Roland. Welcome.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Great to see you. Hello to the audience. Hello.
Hello, hello. It's been a minute since I've seen you. You've had a lot of things going on. So why don't you tell our audience a little bit about what happened to you and your current condition?
Well, yeah, I'm, as you mentioned it in the introduction, I'm a free spirit traveling around the motorhome, and a few years already, always alone, always happy. And then I have an accident. Actually, it was not a car accident. I'm here on a very small, beautiful camping site together with my partner. So I'm not single anymore, but what was really good in this case. And I wanted to use my SUB, my stand-up paddle. So I put it on the river. It's like a small dammed river. It's beautiful here. So I put the stand-up paddle on the river, and as cool as I am, or as cool as I thought I am in my age, I said, okay, I jumped directly on the stand-up paddle and start paddling. And it was slippery, so the stand-up paddle, the board slipped away, and I crashed on a rock with my foot, and I broke it 4 times. So that's what happened.
So am I to understand you sort of leaped onto the stand-up paddleboard?
Yeah, so I put the stand-up paddle underwater, and I didn't, just climb on it. I just jumped on it. I was just jumping on it and okay, let's go. But my feet because the grass was wet, so my feet was slippery, and the board slipped away, and yeah, I fallen on a rock.
Oh my gosh, I can envision it. I love doing stand-up paddleboarding, but I've never thought of jumping onto it. Were you trying to do something new, or is this something you typically do?
I normally do it like this, so, because I'm quite good at stand-up paddling, so I'm good in balancing, so I have no issue. I don't have to climb it, so I jump on it. But this time, I don't know, it was slippery, and yeah, I didn't jump in the middle, just, a little bit backwards. So it just slipped away. And there was a rock down.
Oh, my gosh.
On a rock. And actually, I could feel the pain, but, I'm a man. So I can suppress my pain. And that's that is what I always do. So I got on my stand-up paddle. I stood there, and I was paddling around a little bit, maybe for 5 or 10 minutes. I don't remember. And then the pain came. So I went back, and I gave the board to the daughter of my partner, so she can paddle. And I climbed out, and I said, okay, maybe I have just a sprained ankle. I didn't think about it's broken or sprained ankle. So I walked around the whole day, and then the night it was more swollen, and I had a lot of pain. But, I never complained about it.
Of course not.
The next day I went to the bathroom on the camping site, and I fainted, and my partner found me. I fainted, and I fainted on the way back, and I fainted on the chair. So 3 times She told me within 20 minutes I fainted. And then she said, no, we have to go to the hospital. And because she was a little bit worried of my heart or something, I said, no, I'm pretty cool. And then the doctor told me that because of this, it's broken 4 times, so my foot is broken 4 times. He told me because of the pain, and I'm a person that has a breast pain. I never take painkillers, so I'm not complaining. I try to handle this. So my body was on a, how to call it, on an emergency, I don't know, mode, and said, okay, he's suppressing the pain, and the body just collapsed because of the pain. So I went to the hospital. They made an X-ray. Make a long story short, I get a plaster cast, and here I am since over 2 weeks now.
So thank you for sharing that story, and I'm glad that you're here to tell it. The first thing that was coming up for me is, thank goodness you didn't hit your head. So many things could have happened in that scenario. And so I'm just going to say, wherever you are doing paddleboarding, please climb on the board. Just climb on the board, get on your knees, and then stand up and start paddling. But so this was a key learning experience for you. But what I find so interesting is that the initial shock of what happened, you worked through, and then you continued paddling. And then after that, you continued walking on as though nothing had happened. Was there anywhere in the back of your mind that you were thinking to yourself, you know what, I don't think something's off here. I'm just powering through. Did you have any idea?
Yeah, that's always like me, you know. When something happens, I'm like, okay, no, it's not that worse. It's not that bad. I can handle it. And you know, sorry, medical doctors, but I'm not a huge fan of medical doctors and hospitals. I try to avoid them. It's not that I don't trust them, but I try to avoid them. And yeah, and to be honest, if my partner wouldn't be with me, I guess I still wouldn't be at the hospital and walk around with my broken foot. Yeah, I think so. Because my left foot was broken too in Sicily in winter, and I walked around with him for 4 months and with a broken one. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but that's me. I'm sorry.
Did your other foot heal by itself?
Yeah. Yes.
It did. Well, like you, with the way you're thinking, I often believe as well, if we can find a way to heal it ourselves, because the body does repair itself. But there are times, I think, when the body's giving a signal, maybe going, hello, I'm doing everything I can to let you know. And so I think that's what it took for you. It was fainting 3 times before there was any maybe clue that you needed to go and have something done. So during this period of time, I mean, for all the time that I've known you, you're very active and you're not a man who likes to sit around. So what was coming up for you? Were you feeling angry at any point?
Not really angry, because, you know, when I came back from the clinic, sitting there in the chair with 2, how do you call it, with 2 crutches, you know, sitting there in the chair with 2 crutches. Actually, I had a wheelchair at the clinic. Yeah, I couldn't walk in the clinic. So they brought me a wheelchair. And I said, my gosh, Roland, no, never ever sitting in a wheelchair. But I couldn't walk. It was so painful. And I came back and I realized, oh my gosh, this is not just for 1 day, it's for the next weeks. And the doctor said weeks, and when he said weeks, I said, no. 1 week, and then I want to get rid of this plaster cast. He said, no, it's 4, 5, or maybe 6 weeks. I said, no, that's impossible. I get it. To realize it is like it is, you know, and sitting there. And to be honest, I was a little bit down the first days, not depressed, but a little bit down. You know, I'm a very active person. I love to walk my dog, and I just sit in a chair, and it was awful in the beginning. It was really awful.
Well, you know, when you mentioned that moment, because I can picture it, I've had not the same thing, but similar situation where the doctor gives you the information. You're like, no, not me. No, this is not for me. You can tell that to someone else. I will give up 1 week, right? Okay, a week, I'm happy to do. I get it. But we don't have a choice. So the choice could have been where you just decided you're not getting any treatment, and then your foot never heals, and then you can't walk properly. So I'm really glad that you went ahead to get the treatment. The other thing is, I know from my own experience, I've been on crutches 3 times in my life. crutches are painful. They're even dangerous, like trying to maneuver and carrying things and go through doors. What's your experience been like? Or are you on a cane now or something different?
Well, I like them because they train my upper body right now when I'm on my crutches. But they're really painful because it happened to me 2 times already that I didn't see something on the ground and then I almost fall down with my crutches. Yeah, especially on stairs. So walking up, or actually not walking up, but walking downstairs is sometimes a little bit scary, especially when they're because last weekend I was in Czechoslovakia. I hope my medical doctor from the clinic doesn't listen because I'm not allowed to walk around. But actually, you know, my plaster cast is already broken because I moved too much. So I have to change it. So I was in Czechoslovakia with my partner and her daughter in a beautiful city, and I walked around about 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles. I walked around with my crutches.
Wow.
It's a very old city, you know, with these old stones in the road. It's very beautiful there. And this was challenging to walk there. It happened all 2 times that I almost fell down. But yeah, it is like it is. Yeah, it is like it is.
Yeah, crutches can be very dangerous. That's what I found. So I'm glad that you are taking the needed time to rest and to heal. So what exactly have you been doing with this time when you have been unable to go back to the life that you had?
Well, first of all, I changed my fitness program. Of course, I cannot do my cardio. I cannot walk my 15 to 20,000 steps a day. That really hits me. I cannot walk my dog. So I changed my workout. So I only do upper body training. Well, it's not quite true. I do upper body training, but I also lay down on the grass on a mat, and I do a little bit, moving my legs and stuff like that. So my fitness program, of course, changed as one thing. My diet didn't change. I eat a little bit less. I found out that my digestion systems after a week really slowed down because I didn't move. So I brought something into my digestion and into my nutrition plan in the morning, because I never take a breakfast, just coffee in the morning. I hope I pronounce it correctly. It's called psyllium husk. Do you know what it means, psyllium husk?
No, I do not.
Okay. I don't know, it's from a plant or something, and you put it in water and you drink it immediately because it goes up like this, you know, it absorbs the water and becomes bigger and bigger and larger and larger and larger. So I take this to encourage my digestion system, then I can go to the bathroom, because I found out that when you don't move, your whole system is slowing down. And so I wonder how other people do that are not so active like the 2 of us, you know, how they handle their digestion. I guess they go to a pharmacy shop like my aunt and take a lot of pills, but I don't do that. So
I have heard of psyllium. Now that you explained it, I have heard of psyllium. Yes.
Psyllium husk, yeah. It's natural and it's really helpful. That's what I introduce it in the mornings with 2 glasses of water, and then I guess after it took me 5 days. It really took me 5 days. Then I started opening my computer, and I started working on my books and writing books. And I almost finished them. So I took the time to be creative and writing books, because that's the only thing I can do. I can type, you know. Because I said at the beginning, I thought, why couldn't it be my left arm that I could drive my motorhome? But now I'm happy that I have both arms and I can type and write on my books. And yeah.
Roland, you and we've done so many hundreds of shows together, but one of the things we've always pondered is that everything happens for a reason. Do you feel that this happened for a reason, or was it just an accident that you just were predisposed to having because you jumped onto a stand-up paddleboard?
A good question, Dr. Check. Yeah, I think so. I was thinking about it. Okay, what's the message behind? What's the reason behind? I thought maybe it's because I have to slow down, but I really slowed down the last 2 years already, so even more slowing down. Maybe it's about, where to put my focus, and it's an interesting thing. But first of all, I realized I'm not in my 20s anymore. Again, I realized it again. That's one thing. The other thing is, I'm more and more into writing books, because now it's not my 3rd book coming out, and I was writing 2 books, a reference books. I'll call it a reference books, and a working book on the side for the reference books. I'm more into writing. I really love writing and because sharing my knowledge and my experience. And I was a little, to be honest, I was a little bit lazy when Red will tell you, or I'll call it I'm sometimes a little bit lazy in writing, and I postpone it on the procrastination on writing. But now I have the time, and maybe that's the sign. I said, okay, Roland, stay focused, write your 1,000 words a day or something like that. And that's what I did the last days, and I feel very happy about it. And I had a lot of ideas. So it's this. The next book is coming with illustration, and by the way, from an American artist who will illustrate the book. So yeah.
What is the new book about?
It's a kind of business book or personal development. Actually, I will release it first in German, and when it's released, I will translate it into English, like I always do. It's called from the doer to the designer, in German it said from the Macher to the Gestalter. It means from the doer to the architect of your own life. So being more on purpose, because I see that a lot of managers I had the chance to meet and coach them and train their stuff. They're they're hustling, but sometimes they're not really have a purpose. They're not really have a clear direction. They're just doing. They're more reacting than really be in their own driving seat. That's what I found out. That's why I was the same many years ago. So I've been writing a book about this to give a guideline to people who not want to slow down. It's not about slowing down, really. It's being more about being more purposeful and being more clear what is your inner truth and like that.
I wish you the best with that. We're excited to see the final product, and so you'll actually have 2 books, one in German and one in English.
Yeah, we'll bring in German, and it's actually 2 books. So it's a hardcover book with all the content, and then it's a paperback with a working book with a lot of exercises and questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, we call that a workbook.
Yeah, workbook.
Yeah, a reference guide. Exactly. It's interesting about your journey because it just reminds me of how disciplined and structured I am. And that I've also had some physical related issues that have caused me to change a lot of what I'm doing. But I got these horrible, when I tell you violent back spasms, like nothing I've ever had, where you literally are dropped to the floor. You cannot breathe. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move because any movement, it would just continue. It was like dominoes, one falling after another. And this went on, it would only happen at night. And it happened maybe 6 nights in a row. And of course, I was continuing to work out. Why wouldn't I? And then I ended up sleeping on a chair. And so long story short, now I just hired a trainer, and I'm keeping a food log and an exercise log, and I've completely changed what it is I'm doing to work out. So now I'm seriously lifting weights 3 times a week, which I had stopped doing for a long time. But they do these biometric tests to assess your body mass index, your body fat. I know you and I have talked about a lot of these things, your visceral fat, and I'm already in great shape. I was so happy to read the report because, I gave up alcohol and sugar January 18th, and I lost 10 pounds. But other than that, I didn't really think there was anything that monumental. And so I just kept doing the same 2 workouts every day, which were really hard. And I feel like it led me to where I am, which is now I have a goal set for myself to lose another 7 pounds, but replacing fat with muscle. And in 2 months, I'm supposed to see the results. So I have to actually eat food. I've been drinking these shakes that have blueberries and almond milk and spinach, and then these supplements in there. But what my trainer said, and I love this analogy, if we were dropped in the jungle and he had hurt his leg, let's say you and I were dropped in the jungle and you hurt your leg, and I was responsible for getting us food. And he said, think about the jungle, how much food is there? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not ready to go on an episode of Survivor. Like I haven't trained for it. I had to start fires. But there's fish. There's a lot in the jungle that you can eat if you determine it's not poisonous. So I kept trying to explain to him, I don't want to go in the jungle and I don't want to cook my own food and kill my own food. So he really had me with the way he explained it to me, I now understand that just drinking your food is not the same thing as eating it, because it sets off a digestive process. So now I'm actually starting tomorrow, because today I'm doing liquids again because I don't have any food at home. I actually am going to be eating food. So the bottom line is, from those back spasms, I learned I have to take a recovery day every week, which I'm now doing. And I ended up with this trainer, and I'm changing, like last week, I did water walking for 90 minutes, 5 days in a row, which was fun with the weights, and you do bicep curls. And so had this not have happened, I wouldn't be doing any of this. So it's kind of like the same with you, but we don't want to go through pain. But I guess when you go through the pain, you come out on the other end wiser, or with another opportunity to reinvent yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Always, if it's pain or whatever trauma happened, it's hopefully most people are starting rethink. Okay, well, you can feel like a victim, or you said, okay, why me? Or I said, okay, what's the message behind? And then maybe you find a different way to react differently, or change something on your diet or on your working process. I think it's a trauma is always a good opportunity to restart something and do something new, trying something new. And I'm not a fan of trauma, but sometimes it's helpful. It's helpful. It's absolutely helpful. 100%. Yeah.
I agree with you. I know when the back spasm started, it was 3 Sundays ago, and it was right at midnight. So we go right between Sunday and Monday. And of course I live alone, and there's no one there, right? And I literally could not move for about 20 minutes. And I said to myself mentally, I'm like, you have got to calm down. It's hard to calm down when you can't breathe. And each pain, like I thought ulcerative colitis for 35 years was painful. It was nothing compared to this. So I kept saying to myself, you have got to calm down. Just take tiny little breaths. And so that's what I was doing. And I thought to myself, okay, I am going to have to get to the hospital. And then I thought, because I live in an apartment building, how will I get from in this apartment to the long hallway, to the elevator, to the parking garage? And I thought, okay, there's no way that's happening. So I thought, I'll call 911. Then I thought to myself, that means they're going to have to get into a locked building, right? They're going to have to be buzzed in. They're going to be coming up. They're going to be coming down the hallway, smashing the door because I can't get to the door. So I said to myself, these are not options. So calm down. Just tell yourself that it will go away. And eventually it did. I have to tell you, I was shaken though. I was like, there's no one to call. There's no one to help me. And so I decided I was not going to go back to bed, and I would just stand up holding onto the countertop and try not to move. But the point being that even in a situation where I was terrified, be honest, and there was no one to help me, I made it through. And I think that's the point, that we get so overwhelmed by emotion. And what if I'm having a heart attack? And what if? We've got to calm down so we can think through things and make decisions.
Yeah, 100%. First of all, come back. I'm happy to hear that you stopped drinking these protein shakes, because I stopped drinking them 2 years ago. I came back to real food. That's much better.
But I just want to say, it's not like they have protein drinks, but it's not that. It's actually, you put blueberries into the blender, you put unsweetened almond milk, you put spinach, and then you put protein powder, collagen powder, and then greens powder, and mix it together.
Yeah, it's much better when you put some real food into your shake.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, when it came to my mind when you told your story about this pain, as is I think that, well, I never take painkillers, It was interesting because in the hospital, I got a receipt for the pharmacy of the painkillers. I said, no, doctor, I don't take them. I said, well, are you serious? I said, no. Why? I said, I love the pain. He looked at me and said, no, not this kind of love. But the pain gives me a feedback. And if I take a painkiller, maybe I move too much and then the healing process is even lasting longer. So I said the pain is, I said the pain is, and it was terrible the first night, with this cast blaster in bed, you cannot turn around, and it was really painful. But I'm not a fan of painkiller. I don't use it. And then actually, on Friday I was at the clinic again for an X-ray. And by the way, they want to do an X-ray every week because I pay, privately.
Of course, to change.
And the doctor, he was really furious because I don't know how to call it. You have to put these injections every day so you don't get I don't know, when you don't move too much.
Bed sores.
Yeah. So I said, I know, I don't. I said, yeah, but you have to, and blah blah blah. And I said, no, because I found some studies. 23 out of 1,000 people get it, and when they use this injection, it's 9 out of 1,000. So, what's the deal?
Right.
I don't take it. I don't know. It has no side effects. I was calling some doctors I really trust, good friends who said it has no side, but I don't take them anyway. No, but with pain, I remember a story because when you said, I never call the ambulance. I hate to call the ambulance. I never call it. So ambulance was always only coming when I fainted, and my partners at the time called them. But I never go with free will. Never. But I remember years ago, I was delivering a training to a company in Vienna, and I don't know what it was, but all the hotels are booked. So I called a friend of mine, and he was out of town. He said, you can use my apartment, and it was a 2-floor apartment. And I was sleeping on the second floor, and there was some stairs upstairs. And I in the morning I got up in bed, everything was fine, and I went to the shower, and I don't know what, and I bent it down, put some soap on me, and I got up, and there was a pain in my back the first time in my life I remember, and I couldn't move anymore. I said, oh my gosh. So I called the company and said, I'm sorry, I cannot facilitate the training today. Maybe tomorrow. I'm sorry for that. So I canceled that. That's the first thing. What the heck I'm doing? So I call the hospital. And they want to do. I said, bring me an ambulance. I said, no, I don't want an ambulance. Maybe you can bring me a doctor, put an injection, and it's happening. So they came, but I was on the first floor and I couldn't walk. How the heck do I go to the door and open them? So you know what? I went on the stairs on my stomach, full muscle pressure on my stomach, and I was slipping down on my stomach, sliding down the whole stairs because I couldn't walk. Sliding down, my stomach down.
Oh my God, that had to be painful in and of itself.
Yeah, it was. But
oh my gosh!
And then on all of my fours, my legs and my arm, I was going.
Did you put any clothes on when you got out of the shower, by the way?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So how did you get back up the stairs? Did they help you?
No, the funny thing is, I opened the door. There were 2 guys from an ambulance, and there was a kind of emergency doctor, and these doctors are not the best ones, they just doing the job. This guy was totally drunk. You could smell the alcohol from his mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. And I said, what's going on? I said, this and this. I said, no problem. He gave me an injection like this. I said, okay.
Huge needle, right?
Yeah. He said, okay, relax for 15 minutes and then you can walk. And then it disappeared. I signed a paper and then it went away. Actually, no, I couldn't walk. I spent the whole time on the first floor the whole day.
Oh my God. You know what? Making house calls, that is from so many decades ago. And I guess they have concierge service now where you can have doctors come out. But wow, what a story of you crawling down on your stomach to get there. Oh my goodness. You do what you have to do, right?
Sorry?
You do what you have to do. One thing you mentioned, at least.
I'm always looking for solution.
That's what, you have to find the solution, especially if you're by yourself. But here in the States, at least, that's why for me, when I was thinking about the ambulance is so much money. Just getting the ambulance and all those services, and does it have to be approved in advance by whatever your insurance company? It's kind of like a big decision. So I love how creative you are, and you got the job done.
Yeah. I was in the bathroom and I said, okay, they're coming in 15 minutes, great. And I said, oh my gosh, how the heck do I open them?
Unbelievable.
I was sitting there.
But you made it through. But I think you made also a really good point about painkillers, because many times that's the first thing people will say, oh, I need drugs, I need medication, I need this, I need that. And we're no one to judge someone else's pain, right? But I have personally seen people, especially with back problems, they turn to alcohol and they end up with major problems. In fact, one person, because the back was so bad, he was drinking an entire gallon of vodka. And from there, he went to all these other drugs and he became a drug addict and eventually died. And it was all back to that back pain because it was so horrific. And even though he was getting injections, cortisone injections, they didn't seem to be helping. So my heart goes out to anyone out there who is in pain. But a lot of these things are habitual and it's difficult to get off of them, from what I understand.
100%. I remember I took one painkiller once. I remember when I was the first time, not the first time in India, but when my first time, you know what Ayurvedic treatment is? Ayurvedic treatment, it's a 4 to 6 week treatment in a clinic. I was in a clinic in India to really clean my body and everything, with a lot of massages and stuff like that. So I went there many, many years ago. And the detoxing was so heavy that my one night, I guess it was 4th or 5th night or something like that, I don't remember, that I got kidney problems, like kidney stones, and this was painful. This was really painful. And the guy from this retreat center, he brought me to the hospital, the KIMS, the Kerala Institute of Medical Science. Dr. Jacalyn, you cannot imagine, it's the best hospital in India. So a lot of Brits go there for surgery, and it was awful. So they brought me in an ambulance bed in the hospital when I arrived, and my wife at the time was with me. And I said, I don't know, can you look? It's so cold and wet on my back. So it was full of blood. And the guy, the driver from the retreat, he was always with me, and also for translation and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, it's blood because before you lay down to this bed, somebody just died there after the car accident. Oh my! Is there a chance to change the linen or something like that? So I was lying in this blood. Okay, and I did X-ray and everything, and it was disgusting. Anyway, and then the doctor said, "Okay, you have to stay here for a few days." And I said, "No way! Give me a painkiller." And that's why I asked really for painkiller, because kidney is not fun. And he gave me, but he was a lovely guy, because I said, normally I don't take any pharmaceuticals. I'm not into it. And some stuff I don't like. Obviously I'm allergic, because I don't know.
No, that's good.
And he said to me, you want a high flyer? I said, what do you mean? Yeah, a good high flyer. I said, give me a high flyer. So I don't know how much milligram of morphine he gave me, but my wife told me I was flying 4 days. I was smiling for 4 days. In the retreat, I had no pain at all.
Yeah, but
I got a high flyer.
You know what the thing is, and Red talks about this, one of our team members, it's when you don't get to the root cause of the situation and then you numb it with things, it doesn't heal anything. Yeah. It's just a Band-Aid. So you actually have to get to whatever the root cause is. But I think in your case, first of all, that was completely unsanitary, against the law, I think also. I don't know, but it sounds like a situation that I wouldn't want to endure. And the other thing is, I don't know how it is outside the US, but I know from personal experience with family members, it is not that easy to sign yourself out of the hospital and refuse treatment. So let's say they tell you you need to do X, Y, and Z, and you say, I'm not going to do it. In fact, I'm going to sign myself out. Then they will discharge you without authorization. I forget the exact term, and your insurance company won't pay for it. But I remember one of my family members was encouraging me strongly to get this person signed out of the hospital. And I didn't want to do it because I knew he really needed to get treatment. And he was not having it. And it was my dad, actually. And long story short, it was like 2 a.m. I'm running around the hospital trying to find someone. And of course, you know, in case you don't know, if you go into the hospital in the United States on a weekend, from my experience, you're not going to have the heavy duty doctors working on the weekends. They're coming in on Monday. They're doing their rounds on Monday. And there's sometimes some cases when I've had family members in the hospital, there's literally no doctor who is on call. You know, maybe the nurse comes in and sees you. Or so anyway, to get him signed out, it actually took 3 days before somebody would sign off. And I don't know what happens if you just, like in the movies, people just rip the tubes out of their arm and they just leave. I mean, I don't know if that actually happens, but I don't think it's that easy to just say, okay, I'm not going to have any treatment and I want someone to sign my papers and I'm leaving right now. I think there's some amount of time where they actually make you think about it. Is this what you want to do and end up with this huge medical bill so far that your insurance company will not pay? I don't know, just my experience.
Well, here in Europe, you know, when you're, when you're conscious, you can always get out of the hospital, always. But they want you to sign a paper, so you can go, but your own risk. Yeah, but you have to sign a paper, but you can always leave, always.
How does it work there, where you in Europe when it comes to insurance? It's all provided by the government, right? Depending on where you are.
I don't have an insurance provider by the government. Well, normally it is, but you know, I'm a perpetual traveler because I'm not a resident in any country. So I have a private insurance, and they cover worldwide. Well, there are two ways. So actually, before I went to the clinic 2 weeks ago, I called my agents because I have an insurance company in Spain because I've been living in Mallorca. And they said that there are 2 ways. So the one way is they cover everything directly with the hospital, but you have to be there on vacation. So well, I left the island 4 years ago. So
it's a long vacation.
I don't have a flight ticket or something like that. So okay, the other way is you pay and then you get 90% back. So it's 10% is by me. So it's okay. So I have to pay in advance, and then 2 weeks later I get the money back. So that's
okay. Well, that's a good point too, because if you're paying private, if you're paying for yourself, but most people that I know of are using their insurance. And so if you decide you're going to leave without authorization and the doctor signing off, then it makes sense that you would be responsible for whatever it is. So, but I think the most important thing is that you have gone through something that's been life-changing, where you had to take your everyday life and put it on hold. And now you're in a new chapter of your life and you have made the best of the new chapter. And can you say now that you're, 2 weeks into it?
Yeah, a little bit more.
Yeah, 2 weeks into it. Can you say that it's the worst thing that ever happened to you? Or can you say that, that you've learned something or there's something positive? How would you reframe it?
Well, first of all, it's not the worst thing that happened to me. I had really worse accidents in my life. I spent 6 months in the hospital, so that's okay. But the really frightening thing about it really is for me that I found out. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I have a partner right now, because as I mentioned in the beginning, being alone, being by yourself, living in an RV, traveling around. Well, you can always call an ambulance and go to a hospital. That's not the point. But afterwards, I have a dog and I have to walk my dog. I have to feed my dog. I have to cook myself. But if you want to cook something, you need some food. How to do this, because I cannot drive, because with the plaster cast, you cannot on your leg, you cannot drive. So that's my largest learning, to be very grateful, very thankful that there's someone here I can rely on. And we had a lot of conversations because she said, yeah, it's hard for you. I said, yes, it's hard for you to ask somebody for help and to depend on somebody. That's really difficult for me to. I'm a giver, I love to support other people. I love to give, but to get support from others, to get help from others, because I cannot do it by myself, was a really hard learning for me. Meaning, it was a learning for me that I can accept, or I can, I can accept, and I can take things from other people and being grateful and say, okay, thank you. But it's hard for me. It's really hard for me to depend on somebody else.
I can totally understand that. Absolutely. So, Roland, what will how many weeks do you have? 4?
Sorry?
You have 4 weeks left with the plaster cast?
Yeah, I'm trying to have a deal with Freebase.
Woo, let's make a deal. I can imagine you. Yes.
Because I want to, so in the beginning of August, I want to pick up my motorhome because it's still at the dealers. A lot of stuff, I brought my motorhome before the accident to the dealers to do some repair. And I put a few. I don't have I don't have a shirt with me for the TV shows. I didn't bring a lot of stuff with me. Because I saw, okay, it's 5 days at the dealers, so I just brought some T-shirts, some pants. Of course, a small part of my fitness gear, because I don't get 5 days without my fitness gear. But everything else is in the motor. Yeah, and I brought, of course, my stuff I need to broadcast. But everything else is in the motorhome, and it's about 3 hours drive, so it doesn't make sense with my partner because she has a car to go there and pick the stuff up. It's too far away. So yeah, I miss my stuff. So I try to be back in 3 weeks and pick up my motor, because I miss my motor and I miss some stuff in my motor, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, you are really living a more minimalistic lifestyle than you were even before. But in a way, you have even more abundance than you had. So I'm glad you have your partner, and I'm glad that you are looking at the positives as you always do. So thank you for doing this episode of Unscripted with me. How would you like to close out the show today for anyone who would like to reach out to you? I know you have some new things that you've been working on. We still have your banner with this information. What else would you like people to know?
First of all, from this conversation, from this talk, I want to encourage people, no matter how challenging it is, always look at the bright side of life. Because if you're depressed or whatever, it doesn't help you. So stay positive. Sometimes it's hard, but stay positive. That's my message to you. And if you want to contact me, send me an email. It's my office at rolandfriedl.com. When you go on my website, rolandfriedl.com, you see all my services and offers. I have a long 30-year career in facilitating coaching trainings to sales and management, to tech companies all over the world in free language, but you will see everything there. And right now, besides writing book, I support small enterprises up to 30, maximum 50 people, to integrate AI agents to run their business more efficient and more productive, to be firm and competitive for the future. That's what I'm doing. Thanks for having me. And by the way, don't forget, every Tuesday, Dr. Jacalyn and myself, we do Eat Your Healthy Lifestyle. So if you're interested in your health, we talk about our own, with both medical doctors, we talk about our own experience, how we stay healthy and in shape. And if you speak German, there are also German-speaking shows on Tuesday, the Macher Talk and the Mutmacher Talk. So stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. If you miss any of our talks, go on USA Global TV and Radio or Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck and see the recordings and all other shows from Dr. Jacalyn and myself, but all other amazing colleagues there. Thank you.
Thank you, Roland. Keep healing well, and we'll be in touch. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you again for watching or listening later on an audio-only podcast platform. We really do appreciate you. We are distributed across the world on many different platforms. We're in over 60 countries. Do you have what it takes to host your own TV show? Are you coachable? Are you trainable? Are you looking for visibility? Well, we can help. Let's take a look and see if this resonates with you.
Hey, you. Psst. Yes, you. Watching this right now. Are you creating content, a blog, a podcast, a newsletter, going live on Instagram or TikTok, and still not seeing real visibility or growth? Here's why. Anyone can post, anyone can go live, but not everyone is positioned to be taken seriously. Right now, people are going to YouTube to search for experts, for answers, for credibility. So while you're putting in the work, someone else is being seen as the authority. Not because they know more, because they're positioned better. Now imagine this: your own professionally produced TV show, marketed, distributed, optimized with SEO so people can actually find you. Not just seen, but searchable, discoverable, positioned. You're trained, you're coached, you're guided. No experience necessary, but you do have to be coachable, because this is about stepping into a higher level. This isn't about doing more, it's about doing it right. We've already built the platform, 2 YouTube channels, a global audience, a Silver Creator Award. So the question is, how much longer are you going to rely on temporary visibility when you could be building real authority? If you're ready to be seen differently, go to usaglobaltv.com and apply to host your own show. This is for individuals who are serious about investing in their visibility, their credibility, and their growth. If that's you, we're ready. USA Global TV and Radio, where your voice becomes your platform. Executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Videographer, Paul Garcia. Voiceover, Ed Vargas. All rights reserved. This production is the exclusive property of the USA Global TV and Radio and may not be reproduced, distributed, or used without written permission.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
How much of your value have you been giving away? Saying yes when the answer should have been no? Lowering your price to secure the opportunity? Giving more while receiving less? Over time, it adds up. Until one moment brings clarity, you've been giving away your value. This is not about working harder. This is not about doing more. It's about boundaries. It's about pricing. It's about respect. From Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck comes a direct and necessary message. Stop over-delivering. Stop underpricing your expertise. Stop negotiating against yourself. Because when you recognize your value, everything changes. Stop giving away your value. Boundaries, pricing, and the business of respect. Available now wherever fine books are sold and on Amazon. A film by USA Global TV and Radio. Executive producer Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Videographer and cinematic production Paul Garcia. Voiceover by Ed Vargas. Stop giving it away. Start owning it.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.